Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to a brand new video today. This is a brand new video that I'm going to be doing is the predictions for EFL Cup, which is going to be happening tomorrow and Wednesday. Yes, everyone's going to be thinking, yes, I've had the haircut today. I just thought, yeah, go for this, see how it goes and just see how things happen. So yeah, I'm going to be starting with the first team that will be playing this Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So obviously this is only from what I'm going to say. I'm just going to be saying my own predictions, what I think it'll be. So yeah, it's going to probably be about 5-10 minutes possibly, I don't know, but yeah, we'll just have to see how things go. So going for the first game is Shrewsbury Town versus Carlisle United. Obviously with Shrewsbury in League 1 and Carlisle in League 2. I think I'm going to say a 2-1 Shrewsbury win. Obviously I think Shrewsbury got beat on Saturday, I think. I'm not too sure, but I think they got beat or won, I can't remember, but yeah. And Carlisle United are in League 2, I think. Obviously they've got an okay team, but they have been getting beaten in the last few games. So I'm going to say a 2-1 win for Shrewsbury. Going into Accrington Stanley versus Tranmere Rovers, the team that I support is Tranmere Rovers. I don't think I'm going to this game. I don't think I will be going tomorrow, obviously, because I'm not paying 20 quid for a ticket for a League 1 game. Well, for a Carabao Cup game, for a round 1 game. No thanks. So I'm going to say 1-1, then goes to penalties. The goal scorer I'm going to be saying is, I'm going to say Sam Taylor to score the goal for Tranmere Rovers. I think Tranmere Rovers will be playing a young squad. I think Sam Taylor will score for Tranmere Rovers, and for Accrington Stanley I don't know. So I'm going to say a 1-1 draw and Tranmere Rovers to win on penalties. And I think Joe Murphy will be in goal for that tomorrow. So going for Blackpool versus Barrow next. It's got to be a 3-1 win to Blackpool. Obviously Blackpool are in the Championship, I think. Yeah, Blackpool are in the Championship, and I think they've got an okay team, and they've got an okay manager in Appleton as their manager. So going next to Bradford City versus Hull City. I think Hull are going to win this game 1-0. I think it'll be a tough game, and I think it'll be a good game for both teams. Going into Doncaster Rovers versus Lincoln. I think this is another game that will go to penalties. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw, and I think Lincoln will win it in penalty shootout. So going next is Fleetwood Town versus Wigan Athletic. Obviously both teams have played each other quite a few times in the past few seasons. Obviously they were Wigan were in League 1 last season, but now they're in the Championship. And I'm going to say a shock. I'm going to say a 2-1 win for Fleetwood Town, for Scott Brown's team. So yeah. So next is Grimsby Town versus Crewe Alexandra. I'm not too sure who's going to win this game, but I think I'm going to go 1-0 Grimsby. Next is Harrogate Town versus Stockport County. Obviously Harrogate did win their first game of the season, and then they got beat their last game. Stockport County here have lost their last two games. So I think this game will go to another game that will go to penalties. And I'm going to say Harrogate Town to win the game. So next is Huddersfield Town versus Preston. Obviously both teams are in the Championship. Obviously they're both good each other, they're okay. But I'm going to say a 2-1 Preston win. Mansfield Town versus Darby County. Obviously Tranmere Rovers did get beat by Mansfield on Saturday, which it wasn't a great game for Tranmere Rovers in that second half especially. I'm going to say for Darby, obviously Darby got beat last weekend against Charlton Athletic. I'm going to say a 2-1 win for Mansfield Town. Next is Morecambe versus Stoke. I don't know much about Morecambe. Obviously, they've got Cole Stockton, who is their best player that they've got. I just think Stoke will win about 3-1. Next is Rochdale versus Burton. Obviously, I've got a mate who's a Rochdale fan, and that is Morgan. I think I'm gonna say a 2-1 win for Rochdale. 2-1 win for Rochdale, yeah. I don't know many of their players as well, so yeah. Next up is Afc Wimbledon versus Chillingham. I think this was one of the games, first game of the season, and I'm going to say a 1-0 Wimbledon win. Next is Cardiff versus Portsmouth. I'm going to say a 2-1 win for Portsmouth. Next up is Charlton Athletic versus Queen's Park Rangers. Obviously, QPR are in the Championship and Charlton are in League One. I think this is another game that will go to a penalty shootout. I'm going to say a win for QPR in the penalty shootout. Next is Cheltenham versus Exeter. 2-0 Cheltenham. Not a fan of Exeter, so don't like them. So yeah. After that is Crawley Town versus Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers have got some decent players from what I've seen last season, and obviously they've still got them. I think they're playing Crawley Town away from home, so I think another win for Bristol Rovers. I'm going to say a 3-1 win. Next is Forest Green Rovers versus Leyton Orient. Another tough game for both teams. Obviously, they did play each other last season in League 2. And I'm going to say a 1-0 win for Leyton Orient. Next, Ipswich Town versus Colchester, another derby. Obviously, Colchester fans call it a derby. Ipswich fans don't call it a derby. So I'm going to go normal. I'm going to say a 3-0 win for Ipswich. Next is Luton Town versus Newport. Obviously, Newport have done really well in cup games. I think they're going to carry on and get a win against Luton Town. 1-0 win for Newport County. Next is MK Dons versus Sutton United. Another team that has played well in the last cup, which was the Papa Johns. Obviously, Sutton to get to the final, which was fantastic for them, against a team who are in League 1 in MK Dons. Obviously, MK Dons at home. I'm gonna say 2-2 and MK Dons to win on pens. Northampton Town versus Wickham. I think Northampton will win 2-1. Norwich versus Birmingham. Yes, this is another big game for Birmingham City, obviously, because they've been winning their last few games, which is really good for them. And obviously Norwich haven't really been at it just yet, but obviously because they got beat on in the first game of the season against Cardiff, and then they did get a draw against Wigan. So I'm going to say a 2-1 win for Norwich. Next game is Oxford United versus Swansea. Obviously League 1 versus the Championship. I'm going to say a 1-0 win for Oxford United. Next, Warsaw versus Swindon. Another game that I think they played last week, and it was at Swindon, but now it's at Warsaw. So I'm going to say a comfortable win for Warsaw, a 2-1 win for Warsaw. Next is Reading versus Stevenage. I think this could be another tricky game for Stevenage, but I think Reading would just nick it 3-2, I'm going to say. So going into Wednesdays on the 10th of August, I'm going to say Blackburn Rovers versus Hartlepool United. I'm going to say a 2-0 win for Blackburn. Next game is Port Vale versus Rotherham. I'm going to say a 2-0 win for Port Vale. Next, Middlesbrough versus Barnsley. Should be a win for Middlesbrough, but I'm going to say 3-0 Middlesbrough against Barnsley. Next game is Sheffield Wednesday versus Sunderland. I think this is one of the best games that they've got for the Carabao Cup. I'm going to go 3-3 because I think both teams are good. They know how to play. Obviously, they played each other last season in the playoff semi-finals, I think it was. And I'm going to say a Sunderland win again. So Sunderland's win on pens. Next is Coventry versus Bristol City. I'm going in confident for Coventry, obviously, because they've got some good players in their squad. Bristol City have got Kane Wilson, who used to play for Tranmere and used to play for Forest Green. But I think Coventry will just do it 1-0. Going into Plymouth versus Peterborough, another big game, obviously for League One, obviously because both teams are in that. But I think obviously with Plymouth, I can see Plymouth winning 2-0, and that's going to be a shock. And then the Thursday game on the 11th of August for the last one is going to be obviously with West Brom. They're up and down. I think Sheffield United will win this 2-0. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. So please like and subscribe if you are new. I will be doing my match preview for Tranmere against Chillingham on Wednesday. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And let's try and get to 700 subscribers before the start. I'll probably say before Christmas, I'll say. So that'll be fun. That'll be amazing if you can do that. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. So for next time, I'll see you guys in a bit. Up the right, Super White Army.
Like and subscribe to Alex Duncan.